Hey, it's Chris Doherty, Doherty Properties, coming to you to answer a question. Should I continue to rent or should I be a buyer? I have the answer for you. So you have to make a fundamental decision at the end of the day if you are going to become a buyer, and that is a financial decision. So let's just run the numbers. Don't get caught up in the emotion. Don't think about anything other than the financial decision that you need to make when renting versus buying. Now, not everybody should be a buyer. If you need flexibility, then you shouldn't be buying. If your life is going to change in the next 6 to 12 months in a dramatic way where you may have to sell a property, you shouldn't be a buyer. But if you think you're going to be in a place for a period of 3 or more years, then we just have to run the math and see if it makes sense. And so this is how it looks. If you're paying $2,000 a month right now in rent, you're paying $24,000 a year. And at the end of that year, you're going to get very little tax benefit for that $24,000 that you spent. In a period of 2 years, you will have spent $48,000 in rent. In 3 years, you will have spent $72,000 in rent. And so at the end of the 3 years, you get very little benefit by being a renter. Now, at these same price points, at the base level, you could buy a home for $300,000. The $300,000 home at an interest rate in the 3%, the low threes, is going to come out to about $1,400 a month. You're going to have to pay taxes approximately $400 a month. So that brings you to $1,800 a month. And then you're going to have to get insurance of about $100. So if you're buying a single family home, you'd be at approximately $1,900 a month. So paying $2,000 in rent a month is like paying in the 3 or low 300s for a single family home. And if we have to add a condo fee, that number might change a little bit. But what's the difference? When you buy the home, that number that you're paying monthly is going to change at the end of the year. And so, yes, in a mortgage, you may pay with mortgage, taxes, and insurance $1,900 a month for a $300,000 property, but you're going to have 3 things that are going to happen to you. 1, you're going to get a primary mortgage interest deduction, okay? So at the end of the year, you're going to be able to write off the interest that you have accrued and paid into for that period of time. That interest is going to reduce your monthly number because at the end of the year, you're going to get this tax benefit of several $1,000s that if you applied that to the 12-month period of time, is going to give you a benefit of $200-300 a month. So now your $1,900 basis really comes down to $1,600. Second, you're getting equity buildup in that property, which means at the end of the year and each year, especially the further into a mortgage you go, you start to pay down that mortgage. So at some point, that mortgage will become much less than what you initially paid into that mortgage or you received on the amount of that mortgage. And the third thing is appreciation of the property. And so a lot of you have friends that bought homes 3-4 years ago and they're like, score, I did great, I bought before this big boom. Well, they probably bought their home for $300, 3, 4, or 5 years ago, and that property today could be anywhere to $400,000, $450,000 because of the appreciation on the property, okay? So when you're looking at your rent, you have to make a determination of if I pay this much in rent, then what does it get me if I purchase and what are the benefits? Now, I'm not saying everybody should be a buyer. That's not what I'm saying. You have to assess your situation and look at the financials. Now, the question I'm getting is this. Should I be buying if the market is declining? Like right now it's booming, but what if this market takes a turn? Nobody has the answer to this, but what you always have to build in is that rental number, which people forget. So what do I mean by this? Let's say the house today that you bought is $300, but in 2 years from now, it's $200. You had an economic collapse of the housing market. So the $300 to $200 is a $100,000 loss, right? Yes, but not really. Because while that went upside down, that 100,000, you have to take this $48,000 in rent you would have spent anyways, that you would have gotten nothing for. So now that home loss would have been from 300 to approximately 250,000. Second, you would have received a primary mortgage write-off on that, which would have amounted to close to $10,000. So now that 250 comes down to 240, and you paid off some of that mortgage. And so the loss may not be quite as big as you think because you're putting money away in rent every year. Now listen, I'm a landlord, we have a big rental business, we don't push people just to buy, sell, or make a certain decision for them. You have to make a decision that's right for you. And so, one, assess your situation. If you need flexibility, then don't buy. If you think your life is going to change dramatically, a near marriage, a child, you're going to need to expand in the next 12 months, don't buy. But if you're ready to buy and you're just trying to time the market, you need to take the totality of what you're dealing with in terms of your cost, your expenses, and what you're putting in to see, does it make sense for you to be a buyer versus a renter? Most of the time, the financials are going to make sense to be a buyer, even if there is a downturn in this market. I hope that helps. If you need help, our agents are here to help guide you if you want to buy. We have agents, if you're looking to rent a property, we can help you with that too. And if you want to sell, we can guide you with the best practice to get the most money for your property. Thanks so much. Hope that helps. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.